What if one man could have prevented the French Revolution and the king just fired him? In 1776, a minister warned Louis XVI it was weakness that put the head of Charles I on the block. 13 years later, Louis lost his own. Turgot was born into the French nobility in 1727. His family intended him for the priesthood, and he entered the seminary. But he was drawn to a different calling. He consumed the works of Voltaire and Montesquieu, left the church, and joined the intellectual circles of Enlightenment Paris. One question consumed him. Why was France, with its vast lands and industrious people, mired in such poverty? In 1761, he was appointed intendant of Limoges, one of the poorest provinces in France. Peasants were starving while being forced to build roads without pay under the corvée system, a feudal obligation that drained labor from the fields when it was needed most. Turgot abolished the corvée, hired workers at fair wages, freed the grain trade, and built proper infrastructure. Over 13 years, he transformed a destitute region into a prosperous province. The young king took notice. In 1774, Louis XVI appointed Turgot Controller General of Finances, the most powerful economic position in the kingdom. He arrived at Versailles with 6 sweeping reforms. Free the grain trade so that bread could reach the hungry. Abolish the corvée and all forced labor, dismantle the guild monopolies that strangled competition, require the nobility to pay taxes for the first time, cut wasteful government spending, and open internal commerce across all provinces. Each proposal struck directly at the wealth and privilege of the most powerful classes in France. The resistance was ferocious and coordinated. The nobility lobbied the king relentlessly, warning that the taxation would destroy the aristocracy. The guilds marched in the streets of Paris. The clergy denounced Turgot from their pulpits as a godless radical. Marie Antoinette herself pressured Louis to dismiss him. His opponents even orchestrated artificial bread riots across the countryside. The so-called Flour War of 1775 to discredit his grain liberalization. Turgot's allies were few, and the campaign against him succeeded. In May of 1776, Louis yielded. He dismissed Turgot, and every reform was reversed. The nobles kept their tax exemptions. The guilds reclaimed their monopolies. The peasants returned to forced labor and hunger. Turgot delivered his warning about Charles I and departed Versailles for the last time. He died 5 years later at 53. In 1789, when the revolution erupted, its leaders demanded almost precisely what Turgot had proposed: free trade, abolition of feudal obligations, dissolution of guilds, taxation of the wealthy, every major point. The difference was that Turgot had offered these changes through orderly reform. The revolution achieved them through the guillotine. France had 13 years to adopt the program of its most capable minister. It chose the blade instead.